quantum immortality, you never actually die, you swerve. The truck doesn't stop. Metal screams as glass shatters. Then, nothing. You wake up. Hospital bed, bandages. A nurse tells you that you were lucky. Impossibly lucky. The doctors can't explain it. You should be dead. But here's the question nobody asks. What if you did die? What if in another version of reality, right now, your family is weeping over your corpse? What if the only reason you're still conscious, still you, is because something stranger than death itself happened? This is quantum immortality, and if it's true, you've already died 1,000 times. You just don't remember. Let's start with Schrödinger's cat, a thought experiment, a cat in a box, a vial of poison, a radioactive atom that might decay, 50-50 chance. If it decays, the poison releases. The cat dies. Quantum mechanics says something insane. Until you open the box, the atom exists in both states, decayed and not decayed. The cat is both alive and dead. Superposition. Reality itself hasn't decided yet, but when you open the box, the wave function collapses. Reality chooses. The cat is either alive or dead. Not both anymore. One outcome. One universe. Or is it? The many worlds interpretation says no. The universe doesn't choose, it splits. In one universe, the cat is dead. In another, it's alive. Both are real. Both exist. You just can't see the other one. Now replace the cat with you. Replace the poison with a gun, a car crash, a heart attack, any moment where you might die. Quantum immortality suggests this. Every time you face death, the universe splits. In one branch, you die. Your body stops. Your family grieves. But your consciousness, your subjective experience, can't exist in that branch anymore. It can only continue where you're still alive. So it jumps. It shifts. It always finds the timeline where you survived. From your perspective, you can never die. You just keep surviving, over and over, against impossible odds. Now let's think about what this means. Really think about it. Everyone you know can die in your timeline, but you can't. Your parents, your friends, your children, they face mortality. You watch them vanish, but you just keep going. Every accident that should kill you becomes another lucky escape, another miracle, another impossibility. Eventually, people notice. You're the person who walked away from the plane crash, the one who survived the terminal diagnosis, the statistical anomaly. You become a ghost among the living, an aberration. And you're alone in knowing why. Because here's the horror. You can't share this with anyone. To them, you're just lucky. But you know, you remember the feeling, the moment before death, the split, the impossible survival. You've felt it dozens of times now, but no one else has, because in their timelines, people die normally. Second, the deterioration. Quantum immortality doesn't promise you'll stay young. It doesn't promise you'll stay healthy. It just promises you won't die. Your consciousness will always find a timeline where you're still alive. So what happens when you're 120? 150? What happens when your body should have failed years ago, but you keep surviving? Do you just become older and older, more broken, more trapped in a decaying prison of flesh? Maybe you become the oldest person who ever lived. Not by choice, not by health, by quantum necessity. Because in every timeline where you finally died, your consciousness wasn't there to experience it. You're locked in, a prisoner of probability, condemned to the only branches where your awareness continues. And here's the truly terrifying part. Third, the narrowing path. Think about probability. With each passing year, the odds of your survival decrease. At 20, there are millions of timelines where you live. At 80, fewer. At 150, the branches are razor thin. Your consciousness keeps finding them, but they get stranger, more unlikely, more impossible. Maybe you survive because of a medical miracle that shouldn't exist yet. Maybe you survive because of an accident that defies physics. Maybe the timelines where you live become so improbable, so bizarre, that reality itself starts to warp around you. You might end up in a branch so statistically unlikely that the laws of nature bend, where you're the only constant in an increasingly alien world, and you can't leave, because leaving means death, and death for you is impossible. Fourth, the absence of proof. Here's what keeps this theory unfalsifiable, unescapable. You can never know if it's happening to you. Every near-death experience you've had could be evidence, or it could be luck, pure chance. That car that almost hit you last year, that weird chest pain that went away, that flight you missed that later crashed. Were those quantum jumps? Or just Tuesday? You'll never know. And that uncertainty is its own kind of torture. Because if it's real, you're already on this path. Already locked into immortality. Already doomed to outlive everything you love. And there's no way to test it. No way to escape it. No way to choose death even if you wanted to. You're immortal. But only from your own perspective. To everyone else, you'll die someday. They'll bury you, mourn you, move on. But you'll still be here, somewhere, in some branch, conscious, aware, alone. So what does this mean? Maybe nothing. Maybe quantum immortality is just philosophy dressed in physics. A thought experiment that sounds profound, but changes nothing. Or maybe it's real. Maybe you're already living it. Maybe every close call you've ever had was actually death in another timeline. Maybe the version of you reading this right now is just the one lucky thread of consciousness that kept finding a way forward. And if that's true, then what are you? Are you still you? Or are you a collection of quantum accidents? A consciousness that survived not because of will or strength or purpose, but because of pure mathematics. Because in the infinite branching of reality, there had to be at least one timeline where you made it this far? Maybe free will is an illusion. Maybe you're not making choices. Maybe you're just following the only path where your awareness is possible. A passenger on a predetermined track that only looks like freedom. Or maybe it's worse than that. Maybe quantum immortality means you'll watch everyone you love die. Over and over. In timeline after timeline. Because their consciousness doesn't have the same protection. They can die. They will die. And you'll be left behind. The eternal survivor. The one who always walks away. The one who can never join them. So here's the question I'll leave you with. The one that should keep you awake tonight. How many times have you already died? And in how many worlds are the people you love still mourning you right now?